Hey, it's Mike at Cross Country Mortgage. It's Monday morning. It's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of January the 27th, the last week in January, and really probably the first week we've had since the beginning of the year where we've got just a jam packed week of economic data that can all move the market. So let's talk about what happened last week, what's going to happen this week. I always try to give you data, information, stuff that you can use to make those intelligent decisions when you're buying, selling real estate, buying your first house, and even working with people that are buying and selling real estate. So, what happened last week? Nothing. Rates were flat. There really wasn't a lot of economic news that came out. We had a short week because of Martin Luther King Day on Monday when the market was closed. There's a lot of noise, a lot of news out there, but nothing that moved the rates. So this week, I was trying to give you some stuff that probably you should pay attention to that's going to move the rates. Number one thing is the Federal Reserve. They're meeting their first meeting of the year. They're going to meet 8 times this year, but this is the first one. And then the next thing is inflation. That's always in our top three. And then a lot of data, like I talked about. So let's talk about the Fed. They always have a 2 day meeting. They meet on Tuesday, they end it on Wednesday. Then Wednesday afternoon, Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve chairman, comes out, gives a press conference, talks about what they talked about, gives his insight on what's happening. So nobody expects the Fed to lower the Fed fund rate. They expect to pause a hold. If that changes, if the Fed lowers the rate, that means they think inflation's getting under control, and that could be positive for mortgage rates if the Fed lowers the rate. We know lower inflation is good for mortgage rates, but nobody expects anything to change there. Now, they're not going to come out with economic projections. And really, they don't know what is moving forward with the economy because of the new administration. So, right now, it's just a lot of guessing and estimates. There's still a lot more decisions that have to be made in the coming months to give the Federal Reserve some indication on where the economy is going to be moving from a administration's perspective. The second thing is inflation. The number one report the Fed pays attention to determine their decisions is coming out Friday. It's coming out after their Fed meeting, and it's the PCE, Personal Consumption Index. It's the key measure of inflation that the Fed uses to make decisions. Now, last week, the CPI and the PPI came out that showed inflation was slowing in some instances at a certain pace. Will that basically show that on the PCE? We'll see. Now, if the Federal Reserve if the PCE shows that inflation's getting under control, if the numbers are at expectations or lower, we're going to see a good rally with mortgage rates. If it's above expectations, quite a bit above, that's not going to be good for rates. So we'll pay attention to that on Friday. That's when the PCE report comes out. And then a lot of data. We've got manufacturing data coming out. Now, manufacturing hasn't been great in the past. We've shown that businesses are making less stuff, which means a slower economy. That's good for mortgage rates. We're seeing a lot of housing news come out this week. Valuation reports for Case Shiller and FHFA, the two that are paid attention to the most, are home prices increasing in value. We're going to get new home sales, pending home sales, just a lot of housing data coming out. We're going to get consumer confidence. That really shows us, is the consumer confident in the economy moving forward? This does have the ability to impact mortgage rates, because if the consumer doesn't feel good about the economy, they're not going to buy stuff, and that's a weaker economy. That's better for mortgage rates. Gross domestic product, our GDP, is the economy growing? That's coming out. And so just a lot of data that could move the market. So right now we're in a floating pattern. We haven't seen that in a while, not locking in the interest rates. We think there's a really good chance rates will move to the positive by mid to the end week. I hope you have a productive week. If you have any questions, need advice on mortgage rates, please don't hesitate to give me a call. Forward this to somebody you think can benefit from it. Have a wonderful, productive week, and watch for our rate drop on Friday. We'll talk to you.